guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Hannah and today we're talking about the DAT. For starters, I scored a 23 academic average on my second time taking the DAT. I used DAT Booster as my primary program and then I supplemented with Chad's videos and Khan Academy on YouTube. And stay tuned to the end because I have a giveaway from DAT Booster. If you can't wait and you want to purchase DAT Booster now, I also have a code, DearDDS10, for 10% off their 90-day subscription. This is the schedule I used when studying for the DAT. I just modified the 10-week schedule because I already knew what I needed to study, like what I was strong and what I was weak in, and I wanted to focus more time on what I was weak in. So I allocated more time to like bio and OChem because those were my weak points, and then I filled in other dates with like math, reading comprehension, chem, and I did perceptual ability every single day. I wanted to highlight some features of DAT Booster that I personally appreciated a lot. Number one being their chat feature. Their chat feature made me feel like I wasn't studying alone. Most of my friends are medical students, so I was the only one studying for dental. I just felt really alone when I was studying for DAT, and it felt like I didn't have anyone to ask questions or like ask for an explanation, but that's where the chat feature came to play for me because I could just screenshot a question I had and I would get a response within 2 hours. And I remember one of their members actually reached out and was like, did you understand my explanation? Like, do I need to explain to you another way? So I felt really appreciative of the chat feature because it really made me feel like there was someone there studying with me. The second feature I really appreciate about DAT Booster is their organization and also how many questions they have for you to test your knowledge. So they have questions divided into specific topics. So like for OChem, they divided into the types of reactions you can test yourself on, aldehydes and ketones, or like alkynes and alkenes. And then in bio, they divided into like taxonomy, diversity of life, microbio. And then they'll mix all of those questions together into your full-length test so you can test your knowledge. So I really appreciated DAT Booster for their organization and just like how many questions they have. I also appreciate how like similar their questions are to the actual DAT. I remember seeing some questions on my actual DAT from DAT Booster. So let's get into how I studied for each section. Let's go over bio first because that was the most challenging subject for me, and I scored a 22 on my bio section for the DAT. And I was super proud of this because it's been a while since I took bio. There's like a 4-year gap between taking basic bio in freshman year and then my DAT date. So how I studied for this was I used the DAT Booster paralysis notes, and that was super helpful because they have all these complex bio concepts broken down into 6 chapters, and they organize it super well. Chapter 1 is cell bio and molecular biology. Chapter 2 is diversity of life. So you can I knew which subjects I was really weak in, and I could just go in and read those notes and then review with their practice tests or with their question bank. And if you feel like you need more help, they also have an expanded version of the notes, of the biology notes, so you can read that if you want to go more to depth. But I felt like the 6 chapters were enough for me to review and to like refresh my memory of what I learned before. Their bio question banks and practice tests were very similar to my actual DAT. I remember seeing 1 or 2 questions that were like literally the same on my actual DAT. And next I'm going to talk about OChem and Chem together because I scored the same score and I kind of studied the same way for it. I scored a 24 for Chem and OChem, and that was actually super surprising to me because OChem is also not my strong suit. Like, I failed a quarter of OChem in undergrad and I had to retake it. So I was really surprised that I scored a 24, and that was my highest score among all the subjects. I would have guessed like Chem or like bio, but yeah. So how I studied for OChem was because I don't have a good foundation for OChem, I watched Chad's videos to kind of build that foundation that I never had. And I used his free videos. He does have a paid version for the DAT, but I already spent so much money on my previous take for the DAT that I was like, I'm just gonna use a free version. And his videos go super in depth, like more than you need for the actual DAT. But I just don't have that foundation, so I was like, I'm just gonna watch all of them. So I watched all of the videos for OChem and Chem on Chad's videos, and then I went over to DAT Booster and I would test myself using their questions. And I love that DAT Booster would separate the questions into reactions. So like aldehydes, ketones, alkenes, alkanes, they would have reactions separated into their respective group. I just practice all those reactions on DAT Booster. And if I really didn't understand like a reaction or like a mechanism, I would go back and watch DAT Booster's videos on that reaction so that I could understand it, because Chad's videos were a little bit of an overkill, but like it worked in my advantage. Same thing with chem. Chem is a strong suit of mine, so I just watched some of Chad's videos and went over to DAT Booster and just reviewed the reactions and read the explanation if I got a question wrong, and asked questions through the chat feature to see why my answer would be wrong, and just kind of like took notes of where I was weak and practiced more of those questions on DAT Booster. For math, I scored a 23, and I think the best way to study for math is really just to do as many problems as possible. The more you do math problems, the more you realize they're just testing you in algebra, geometry, and like probability and stats. The more problems you come in contact with, the more you know how to solve them. I use DAT Booster and Khan Academy when studying for math. I would test myself on DAT Boosters, like their questions, use their cheat sheets, read it through, and then if I didn't really understand, I would watch their videos. And then I also watched Khan Academy's videos just to have a different explanation when I needed it. For reading comprehension or English, I scored a 22, and how I studied for this was that I went onto DAT Booster's reading strategies and I watched through each video to understand like what that reading strategy is. They have a lot, so like there's a standard approach of like just reading and then answering questions. They have search and destroy, which is what I use. You go straight to the questions instead of reading the passage. So you read the first question, you go back to the passage and you search for the answer, and then you answer the question, and you just keep going back and forth. But I also added in highlighting, so I would highlight as I read. It acted as like a placeholder. But they have many strategies you can go through and try, so that's what I did. I went through each strategy, tried every one, and then I found the strategy that worked for me, which is search and destroy plus highlighting. I practice that method every week to understand like how to improve my method, and then that's what I used on the DAT. So for PAT, or perceptual ability, I scored a 21, and how I studied for this was that I watched through DAT Booster's PAT strategies. They have a lot of different techniques and strategies you can use for the different types of PAT questions they ask. So they'll ask you about keyholes, top front end, angle ranking, hole punch, cube counting, pattern folding. Those are the 6 concepts they'll test you for perceptual ability, and I just watched through their PAT strategies, found the strategy that worked for me, and practiced it every single day for 30 minutes. I would do PAT every single day for 30 minutes, and if I wasn't home that day or something, I had an app that I would just practice on, because perceptual ability is something it's about training the eye. So the best way to do it is just to do it every single day, so that you can train your eye into seeing like the length of something, or to see the patterns of things. So like, yeah, PAT is something you have to practice every day, and that's what I did. So that was how I studied for the DAT, and now for the giveaway. I wanted to thank DAT Booster so much for doing this giveaway with me. We are giving away a 90-day premium subscription, and that's worth $299. So you can use DAT Booster, use all the features, and use all the questions that DAT Booster has to offer to study for the DAT and score something like what I did, like a 23, or score higher than me. To enter, you need to like this video, subscribe, and then go onto Instagram and follow dear.dds, which is my account, and then DAT Booster's account. If you want to increase your chances of winning this giveaway, on my most recent post with DAT Booster, you want to tag a friend, and every tag counts as an entry. If you wanted to purchase your DAT Booster membership now, I also have a promo code for 10% off, which is DearDDS10, and that'll give you 10% off their 90-day subscription. Good luck to you guys, and thanks for watching. Hi guys, I'm editing, and I actually just got a response in the chat from DAT Booster. It's crazy because I sent the question when I was filming the video just to show you guys that you can just screenshot the question and send it over in the chat. I didn't think I'd get a response because it's the weekend right now, but I got a response within 3 hours. I think on the weekends they do respond closer to 3 hours, but I still got a response on the weekend, and that just shows how readily available they are at DAT Booster. But yeah, just wanted to share. Good luck studying.